security guard and worked there for a long time. One of their best players, Brian Dawkins, got traded in the offseason. Really big in the Philadelphia community, really popular. The guy wrote on his Twitter page, I didn't like this move. Nothing big, no cursing, no, I'm going to take it out on the team. Just voiced his displeasure on his own personal Twitter account. And he was fired for that. Everything you have, everything you do has repercussions. Your Facebook page. Facebook, anyone here not, let's do it the easy way. Anyone here not on Facebook? Okay, all right, so most of you are on Facebook. How many of you, of those of you who are on Facebook, how many of your Facebook accounts are private? See, most of us who have Facebook in this room, it's not private. Mine isn't, but I'm pretty careful. So are you careful about what you put on there? Because if anyone can see it, and you're going out and you're applying for a job, I was just talking to someone yesterday at a networking event for the Chamber of Commerce that I'm the president of in University Heights, and they were shocked because what people have been doing is they'll interview you before after, but usually after. They'll interview you, and when they're in the process of figuring out whether they want to hire you, they'll just Google your name. And it'll bring up all kinds of stuff, articles you've written, things that have been written about you. It's usually, depending on what you have or haven't done, isn't going to show too much, but it'll bring up two things. Even if you're a young professional, your Facebook page and your LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is just like Facebook, but more professional flavor to it. But they're pretty much identical programs. And so they went to the Facebook page, and they were shocked at the stuff that this person had on their Facebook page. And they were worried, it was a marketing position, and they were worried about what this person would portray to their clients. So they didn't call them back for a second interview. Because in the position this person was going to be hired for was a marketing position, which is getting your message out to your clients about what your business is. They didn't trust that this person put out a good enough message about themselves. So they were worried, well, if they can't do it for themselves, they're not going to do it for my company. So just be careful what you're communicating on areas where you're not even necessarily intending on communicating. Facebook, LinkedIn, on the web, pictures that are out there. Be careful. Do you guys have any rules here at school about texting and what you can and can't text? You guys have any of those yet? Huh? Okay. Lots and lots of schools are banning X, Y, and Z from being texted. Pictures, not so good pictures, so on and so forth. Again, do you want to be attached to that? And that doesn't stop when you leave school. That continues when you get to the workplace. And unlike school, but when you're working, what if you lose your job because you sent a text that your boss saw or an email that your boss saw that you didn't intend him to see? I fortunately haven't done that, but I've sent plenty of emails that I put down the wrong person's name, not the wrong person's name, inadvertently sent it to someone that I didn't intend to send it to. Now, that's never caused me any damage, but what if I was complaining to you about, what if I was sending you an email as a friend about complaining about my boss, and your name's close to my boss's name, and accidentally sent it to my boss? I mean, that could be a really negative situation. What if you're in your office and you're talking on your cell phone, again, same situation, you're complaining about a situation at work, and you leave your door open, and someone overhears that? Be aware of the way that you're communicating, because it talks about your brand and how you network yourself. I use this word networking lots. Does anyone know what networking is? Anyone ever heard that term before? You guys network You guys network all the time. When you guys are on Facebook, you mentioned earlier, those are social networking tools. All it is a way for people to get together. Okay, right now I'm networking with you. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you guys and getting a little interaction, but I'm networking. Every second that I talk, that I gesture, you guys are making judgments on me, making decisions about how qualified or not qualified I am to be up here, what my restaurant's like, what my experience is like. I'm networking to you right now. How you guys are dressed, I'm judging every one of you how you are dressed right now in the context of this school. I'd be judging you differently if it was a business function, if we were having a dinner at a fancy restaurant, if we were having dinner at a casual restaurant. How you network yourself is extremely important. I mentioned yesterday I went to a networking event. It is exactly what it sounds like. Networking event is where people come together to do that, just to network, to meet each other and see if they can help each other out, whether that's find a job or not. I'll give you a really good tip. When you guys are out and you're done with school and you're actively looking for work, wherever you're going to be, go out, just Google networking events in your area and go. Young people do not, and I'm talking about young professionals. I mean, we had one who came to our event. She was 26, by far the youngest person there. And there was only a couple people under 30 there. And so what does that mean? Yeah, it might be a little awkward because you're one of the only young people in the room, but you're also one of the only young people in the room. It's a differentiator. Wow, this person must be a real go-getter if they're here in the morning spending time trying to network with business owners, people in senior management that have ability to make decisions. You can sit and network with your friends all you want, and that's great, and that's wonderful, but if they can't, in the context of getting a job, that's probably not going to help you. So you have to go out and network with the people that are going to be able to get you a job. They're not expensive. Most of the times they're free. The one I went to yesterday for a non-chamber member was like 20 bucks. 20 bucks isn't a big investment if you're able to secure a job or put you in contact. There were 55 people there. You go the whole time, you can meet 20, 30 people and make contacts with them and keep in touch with them so that you can follow up for work. Briefly back to the communicating. One of the things that's happening a lot because of all the texting, all the non-face-to-face communication, there's a lot of problems with face-to-face communication. Boundary issues. You can't open up the newspaper without reading about a problem in interaction in high school and colleges all over the world, even at work. People just not knowing what's appropriate.
Please pardon the interruption. Would the following students please report to the Media Center at this time? Elizabeth Klein, Caitlin Friel, Hallie Blunt, Shayna Keeling, Sarah Hunt, Angela Kunn, Kevin S. Miller, Brittany Morris, Rachel Quartarci, Lauren Supple, Emily Askew, Jennifer Book, Julie Book, Gina Brasilli, Caitlin Biter, Kelly Klein, Rachel Delaria, Brittany Dicko, Blake Babylon, Nicole Fisher, Jonathan Hall, Brandon James, Barbara Colson, Jessica McQuaid, Tia Mullins, Abby Nagel, Megan Owens, Jessica Paspa, Josh Perrin, Vanya Verduca, Stephanie Raschuti, Todd Sable, Jemana Sawoma, Katie Schifferly, Megan Skeens, and Austin Westfall. Thank you.
Nobody here. Nice. Good job. Nobody from here. There's been a lot of problems with face-to-face communication, and the reason is, for example, some of you, this is not a big crowd. I've been interacting with some of you face-to-face and seeing your reactions to different things that I've said. Okay, I can read your face. You like what I'm saying? Do you not like what I'm saying? Are you identifying with what I'm saying? So on and so forth. If you're not communicating with someone face-to-face and you can't read that, that makes it really tough, again, to read those people. How many of you have gotten an email from someone who you totally went off the deep end because you thought they said one thing and you call them and they did not mean that whatsoever? How many of you had that experience? I can't tell you how many times I've had that experience. And that's just, and you heard too? Okay. I mean, it happens. And I don't use it to pick on anyone, but it's just a matter of you need to be able to read people. And if you're able to do that, and why is that important? Employers, when first of all, your coworkers alone, if you're in a sales position, you need to be able to do that. If you're in a customer service position, one of the biggest industries in the world, customer service, you need to be able to read people as well. So just work on that. I just have a couple things to touch on briefly, and then I'll wrap up. Talk a little bit about attitude. Attitude says everything about you in terms of your brand going into an employer. Going to an employer and looking for work. Two different people. These are true stories. They both happened 2 weeks ago.